All righty, all righty. Hey, we thank everybody. We thank everybody. Um, we are back. We are back.
Hey, y'all. I'm burning up.
Well, I am Kel,
I'm Quintella.
and this is Recipe to Chivalry. All righty, and as usual, we will start off with a quick prayer. So bow your heads. Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to see another day. We thank you for keeping us, blessing us, Lord. We ask that those who come on now, those who may see your letter, that this be a blessing to them in their life. Continue to bless this channel and all that will come on. In Jesus' name we pray, amen and amen.
Amen.
All righty. So, now, excuse me for a second.
We're getting dinner out of my house.
She had to tell all that. That's why I got off camera. Otherwise, I could have just stayed on here. But anyway, as you can see, the topic is gender socialization, the agents and the impact. So what does that mean to you, gender socialization?
Basically, we are talking about the process through which individuals learn their behaviors, their expectations, their roles, association type things with, I guess, to their specific gender would be the best way to describe that.
And those agents, what are those agents? Because sometimes we don't realize what we're doing.
Right.
And because we don't realize it, we don't realize the impacts, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we have on here the lovely and talented, always available, LaVonda. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great.
Good.
So the topic, I believe you heard, was gender socialization, agents, and impact. And I kind of let my dear wife here kind of give a synopsis on what that means to her. What does that mean to you? And how do you take that?
I don't know because I'm not. Are you asking what does that mean? Because I'm kind of confused on like the gender socialization. I guess like male and female interacting with each other, but then like what do you mean by agent and impact?
All right, I'm glad you asked that question. We're going to get into it. All right.
Okay.
So, gender socialization is the process through which individuals learn, like you said earlier, the behaviors, expectations, roles associated with their assigned gender, right? Within society, parents dressing their children.
So boy, girl, girls pink.
Boys blue. That would be gender socialization, right? Buying the boys toys like trucks, where versus buying the girls dolls. That's gender socialization, right? So, give me 1 second. Somebody just hit me up.
What time you starting now?
Okay, so somebody asked me when I'll be starting, but they should know now. But so what is gender socialization? It is a process through which a culture, gender, y'all forgive me, is a process through which a culture's gender-related rules, norms, and expectations are learned. I feel like I'm not in the picture, but okay.
You're in the picture, baby.
Excuse me. This process often begins from a very early age. Most people, it is thought that children are aware of their gender by the time they're 3 years old. You agree with that?
Give or take, I think sometimes a lot earlier, but if they're saying 3, okay.
I guess that's the norm.
Okay.
That's the norm. Not a definitive, but just overall the average. I think the average is taken into consideration, saying that 3 years old. All right, let me turn the volume down on this thing because I hate that with a passion. Anyway, so that they are 3 years old, long before they come to recognize.
I'm gonna go close to it.
Before they recognize any other type of group that they may belong to. So they're saying by the time they're 3, they'll recognize their gender role well before they learn any other kind of group that they belong to, right? And I agree with that because when you're growing up and you're young, you tell the boys, I know I've done it. No, that's for girls. That's a girl toy. Here. No, that's for boys. That's a boy toy. Here. Or think about it when they do gender reveals, right? They pop the pink balloon or pop the blue balloon. It's already ingrained in our culture and almost worldwide where it's definitive to colors, right? So in gender socialization, it's important to distinguish between sex and gender. When referring to anatomically or reproductive differences between men and women, many social scientists use the term sex. When referring to gender, it is a social construct which is believed to exist in a continuum involving ideas about masculinity and femininity. The cultural idea of gender socialization is that society has their own idea of what gender is. People and cultures throughout the world recognize that there are different gender groups and that they have assigned roles and responsibilities. And through gender socialization, people develop their own beliefs about gender and ultimately form their own gender identity.
Do you agree with that? I mean, for the most part, I would say yes. For the most part, they
So-
decide, because I'm a girl, maybe I can belong to this group, or I identify with this group of people more than I do the others.
And it does of course start to form your beliefs of what. I mean, we spoke about this before, and the topic we brought up before was traditional housewife versus non-traditional, because this will lead into that. Like, growing up, the girl, like my cousin, I know Melissa had one. I'm not sure if I think V had one too, but the girls would get easy bake ovens.
Mm-hmm. I had my
and like she's throwing up the deuces.
Yep, I had my easy bake.
I had 2 of them.
So the girls would get the easy bake ovens.
My girl was baking.
Because it was
me and Kel used to eat cake mix. So
what?
I was cooking it up and just eating the cake mix.
Yes. So the girls would get the easy bake ovens, and within that construct, it was kind of ingrained the belief of that's what a woman is, one of the roles she would automatically take on. A girl as a woman, that a girl would play of taking care of the house, being a nurturer, because that's where you see them play house, where they had the dolls and setting up their family and play cooking and all that good stuff. With the guys, they got the trucks, they got the army guys and all
dinosaurs,
the dinosaurs,
all that type of stuff. Okay.
And it was like we had to be the protectors, the defenders. So that's where those kind of beliefs are formed, even outside of religion, the religious aspect, just in a social construct. So now with that, people may not be consciously aware of the gender norm decisions that they make.
And what type of decisions would those be?
Like, for instance, colors. Like automatically, like I know for me growing up, it was like you absolutely do not wear pink. It is an absolute no-no for a guy. Now you see mauve and all these other like.
And you got some that just wear pink.
Yeah, you got some that just wear pink. Period. Look at Cameron, Dipset, when he had the pink fur. Nobody questioned it.
Right.
Nobody questioned his masculinity.
Right.
It was a fashion statement.
Right.
But growing up, it was like a
no.
So you can be you can be unconscious that you made those decisions based off of that norm growing up like that.
Right, because
I'm not going to wear this color. I'm not going to wear this color.
Right, because those are the things that was already engraved.
Right, not necessarily that you don't like the color, but just as a kid, not even knowing it was ingrained that you get men stay away from that.
Right.
So,
which I think is kind of crazy too, because it was never told to me that I couldn't play with boy cars or trucks or any of that. It's just that, I knew the boys played with them, but I had one too. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things where I knew it was considered a boy toy.
I'm glad,
but it wasn't something that was off limits to me as far as the toy concept of it. But for you playing with a doll,
it was absolutely off.
Right. That's kind of
okay. John, what up?
That's your
that's my brother. What up? Let me see if you actually got it right this time. Can you hear? Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Great. Glad to have you on.
Thank you.
Did you hear the topic? Or do I need to kind of briefly go over it again?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so the topic is gender socialization agents and impact. So we're going over what kind of forms that between the gender roles of growing up,
between male and
female, like colors, like boys wear when gender reveals. It's a blue for boys, pink for girls.
Right.
And even when you get past that stage, boys wear these colors, girls can wear these colors. Like we were talking earlier, you buy easy bake ovens for the girls, you buy G.I. Joes and construction trucks for the boys.
Boys, right.
And we're saying that how sometimes unconsciously we make decisions based off of those, but not understanding why we make those decisions.
Or where they came from.
Or where they came from.
The concept of it.
One of the examples I gave was growing up, I would not wear pink. Right. Not that I didn't like the color pink, because it was ingrained in me at a young age. Girls wear pink, and it wasn't for boys. And then I brought up, a rap group called Dipset, and when Cameron, he brought out a pink fur coat. Mm-hmm. Nobody questioned his masculinity.
Right.
It was a fashion statement. So, examples of gender socialization. An example of gender socialization is how toys are gendered, which we just spoke about.
Right.
Excuse me.
We talked about the colors. We talked about the cars, the action figures.
Right.
The dress-up roles that maybe games girls play with cooking and cleaning, those type of things. Right. And how those activities reinforce what that gender is or who you are as far as a male or female, because you're engaging in those activities or you have those toys or you're wearing those colors. Those are the things that reinforce who you are gender-wise.
Right, and I think that's the key word, was the reinforcement, because it's taught to you, but it's reinforced through other activities, right?
Right.
Y'all forgive me, got some indigestion. Like for instance, toys advertised to the guys would reinforce that males involved in being adventurous and strong and logic driven, right? Mm-hmm. And then toys advertised towards girls will reinforce that females means to be maternal, physically attractive, or dressing up all the time.
Right, because that'd be like, you need to dress this way,
right.
Look this way,
put the bobos in
your head, right, to look pretty, and things of those.
Right, and manage household tasks.
Right.
Because remember, we said before, they were playing house early. James, what up, James? What's going on? Glad to have you on.
Hey, good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Glad to have you on, bro.
Need to be returned. You can hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
I'll let her know. We can hear him. I don't know if he can hear us. Well, anyway, we'll continue until we get him straight.
All right. So those socializations can be reinforced through those activities, right? So
It's not good. Yeah, we kind of made, I think, a lot of
same points.
yeah.
Right. So this is like instances.
Let's talk about
So-
the socialization, which is where we're basically at now. What those agents look like.
Okay.
The extension
The
to
agents of socialization.
right.
So what would that be?
Agents of socialization would be, I feel like, your family, your mother, your father, your sister, your brothers, school, education department, your friends. All of those things would be considered, I believe, the agents.
What about social media?
Social media could definitely be an agent
Yes.
of or an impact.
Both.
If
It
not
can- it can
both,
be- it can
because
be an agent
that
and
does
an impact.
help shape or reinforce sometimes who you are, who you're trying to be,
Yes.
or in those areas.
But could that be a good thing or a bad thing?
And it depends.
Because this is
It
kind of like a
depends.
touchy subject.
And
now.
it really is a very touchy subject for a number of reasons. Because you as a parent, right? You as a parent, you raise your child, like you said, we've reinforced certain things already, or behaviors into our children, or how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to present yourself, being a male or a female.
So,
But then, as you get older and you get around other agents, where we talk about with school,
your
peers, social media, and things like that, and it begins to change, or is change even the right word?
yeah, it can be. I mean, we can use that word, but I want to go back to something you said earlier.
Which is?
So you said earlier that it wasn't shunned away for you to play with cars. Right?
No, it wasn't.
So I know growing up, when we saw females that interacted more with the quote unquote
The
boy stuff, they were considered tomboys.
Yeah, I was definitely.
And it wasn't a bad thing. It was just they were into these
They
things.
wasn't the girly.
Right. It wasn't the prissy
right.
girly.
It was the girly.
They didn't mind getting dirty.
Right.
And they were into some of the things that we were into.
Yeah.
And they would throw the coat on them called tomboys. Mm-hmm. They climbed the trees when we climbed the trees.
I climbed the trees.
So now back to what we said about these other agents being family, friends, social media, and having the impact. So the impact that we're talking about, again, could be positive
or negative.
Mm-hmm. And I think we'll get into that a little bit, but parent socialization, we get into that from your parents. As soon as a parent find out whether they're expecting a boy or a girl, that's when that socialization starts to come about.
Right, because you're going to choose the color for the room based off of what that gender is.
The type of clothes.
Right, the type of clothes.
The color.
The colors, yeah.
What color you're going to paint the room. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. So that's where the parent may come in. And there's other things too, like the language that the parent uses around the child can reflect that gender of socialization too.
Absolutely.
So it's just not colors and clothing.
No, it's mannerisms.
All kinds of things.
Those come into play.
That.
Right.
So
like
those things that
up,
we may not, again, when they said sometimes we're unconscious of the way that we do things because of the way we were molded.
Right.
We're also unconsciously unaware of the way we're molding or could be molding
our children. Right. Because
of the things we say.
When I think about like with the girls growing up, like Jazz, we killed that child with Pink. And unfortunately, Marla got the brunt of that because whatever we put in her or Jazz, she was going to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And I laughed because both of them, as much as I tried to dress them up, really pretty, and they look cute for church, but by the time it was over with, they out there running around with the boys or doing whatever, that was a wrap. They didn't look the same. Not only that, as they begin to dress themselves, they, the shoes, the little bows with the shoes and all that was there, but they geared more towards, they sneakers, all that. It was hard to put a dress on them. It was really hard to put a dress on. And actually, my sister too, because she played basketball.
She played basketball. Like on Sunday, you would see her dressed up in a skirt,
a dress, but she hated
hair done,
but the rest
looking
of the
nice.
week,
Not that she didn't look nice otherwise, but the rest of the week she in shorts and t-shirt with a pair of sneakers on, ready to go play hoop.
Right.
And that was her comfortable style of dress.
But that came into play because she was in, like we saw out with school, in an environment, and she found an activity
that she enjoyed.
So that socialization turned into something that became a part of who she is.
So that's another agent.
So it became an agent that impacted the way she
right. So girls, sometimes when we talk about girls, we refer to them as pretty. And boys, we describe them as strong, handsome, or boisterous, something like that. So that can always play a part when we talk about language. And often there's a different expectation depending upon the gender, right? So girls may be expected to help out with the mother with cooking, right? Shopping, cleaning, and other activities. With the boys, they may be expected to have high job aspirations, engage in sports,
right?
More so than the
girls, right? So let's ask
with their father.
Right. Anybody got any questions? Yeah, there we go.
Come
That's
on,
what I want.
Well, I just got two comments. One, you said like as parents, we may be unaware of like the influence we are putting on our children as far as their gender socialization. That makes me think about Israel. Israel had to be no more than 2 years old. I didn't feel like I was feeling anything in him, for even when it comes to colors. But even at that age, I think we put him on we were going to the movies, we put him on some type of shirt that had these colors in it. And when I say he went off, he went off. I mean, he was crying, real tears, snot, screaming. I'm looking like,
what's wrong?
And he's like, this shirt, like he's 2. And I'm like, the shirt? I'm like, it's a shirt. Him and Reggie must have connected on something with that shirt. Reggie came over there. He was like, no, he don't want to wear this shirt, and snatched the shirt off. He put him on a different shirt. He was fine. I said, okay, so it was something about the colors in that shirt that even at 2 years old, he felt threatened his little manhood, I guess.
Right.
He was not feeling that shirt. And then my second comment was, with me having the kids close in age, Aaliyah, I dressed her, you know what I mean, like in dresses every now and again. And she got told she was pretty. Israel got told he was handsome and all of those things as they got older. But because they were so close in age, Aaliyah had toys, but her and her brother was doing suplexes off the couch. Like he was body slamming her. So even with her dolls, they was fighting.
Right.
Because they like, I guess like those gender roles kind of like intertwined.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in the house. And even now, like Israel is the one that loves to cook. I'm not sure what Aaliyah know how to do in the kitchen. It's not her strong point.
She can bake.
She can boil an egg.
She can bake a cake.
That's
She do a little something, but she's not interested in it at all. And I'm like, Aaliyah, what you gonna do when you get married? She was like, he better know how to cook or DoorDash. And I just said, okay.
Absolutely.
Right. So that is a great example of parenting, socialization, and I mean, because
Yeah. I mean,
apparently she did it without knowing, but him even at 2 years old was like, no, I ain't supposed to be wearing them colors. Like,
right.
take that off of me right now. I don't want any parts of it.
So with that being said, I'll speak on some of the negative aspects. Like you have the child, and excuse me, I've seen where the father is out there doing criminal activity,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what the son sees.
Right.
And the mother stays clear away from that, is against it, but that's what he does. And she's trying to guide him in the opposite direction, but he's drawn to that one because there's another male that he's looking up to.
Right. And that's his father.
And he starts to emulate what his father's doing.
Right.
And then he winds up being out there, and then he winds up doing the same thing once he gets of a certain age.
Yeah, so that could be
And that's
negative.
A negative impact that you don't realize that you're being, sometimes you don't realize it until it's late, or sometimes you do catch on to it. You're being watched every single minute of everything you do. Sometimes when you think they're not paying attention, they are paying attention.
I'm glad you brought that up. I also think about children that, that you brought up a father or whatever, that don't have, like, maybe they biological father or whatever. How do you feel that impacts them forward in their role?
Say that one more time.
So, like with, well, I'll bring
Just repeat it.
children who don't have like let's say a father figure in their lives or whatever. And now, they're trying to navigate, or they're trying to either not be like the absent father. So they're doing things that the opposite. Because, you brought up something where negative, where the child was trying to follow the father, and he was doing, negative things. I've seen it where there has been, and I don't know if I could use you for an example,
Sure.
where you did not have your biological father, but you made it a goal, or you used that as a blueprint of how you were going to be able to raise your children and how you was going to move forward in life. So for me, socialization happens sometimes with a present agent, should I say?
Well,
because that goes on to.
That's kind of like a. Well, when you say that, I get the point you're trying to make.
Right.
But at the same time,
because it did impact on how you moved. It did impact on. Yeah.
So I get what you're trying to say, but here's what I'll say to that, right? It does have an impact.
Right.
But there are other male figures in their lives.
Right.
So it doesn't have to just be the uncle, doesn't have to be the brother, the cousin. I believe personally. I hear that, but I believe if there's other males around that are constantly in and out the picture, but just around, he's probably going to gravitate to one of them, or pick certain things from
all of them,
from a group of them.
Okay.
But yeah, that did.
Having a Buccaneers is finally why.
Just muted for a second. Yeah.
But so I do see where for me it did impact, and the impact was a long-term impact because it didn't affect me like, well, I won't say that either. But the part that you're talking about was something in the back of my head of, if I do raise a family, I don't want to be absent
Right.
because I knew how that made me feel.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, so to what you said, yes, that you still have an impact
Regardless.
even if you're not
there. Right. Because you were showing, I was just trying to show an example of somebody who's not there where you were showing where
Somebody that
everybody
was
was
there.
there. Right.
Right.
And that it does impact it also in so many areas. As a parent. Let's move to where you want to head to now. What part?
Let's see.
Because we dealt with Vonda's back. Because I
Oh.
was dealing with the way they believe. You good?
She got some-
Oh,
you
I
know,
just wanted to, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to piggyback off of Quinn. Because I've seen that, Kel, I know you've seen it too, like in the hood, when there's a single mom who's struggling trying to raise kids and the father is absent. Sometimes that son sees that as, oh, I have to do what I have to do to take care of my mom. And
Right.
so sometimes those type of situations when there's an absent father, especially with a male child, he
Right.
feels obligated to step up and be the man of the family, however way, you know what I mean, that is, whether it's in the streets or just grinding at sports or, you know what I mean, some way trying to make it out. So sometimes that can affect, you know,
Oh,
the
absolutely.
male too.
Absolutely. It could put a strong drive in them to
Yeah.
make the situation better. And sometimes it can put a negative impact on them where they start to lean towards other things to fill that gap.
Yeah,
King,
absolutely.
hey,
And
how you
then
doing? Glad you
that
can make it.
that can also negatively impact a female as well. You
Right.
know, that where that man is absent, because you know that male figure is the first one to tell you you're beautiful, to show you how, you know what I mean, a man is supposed to treat you. So when that person is absent, that could negatively impact that female as well.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So they go looking for that. Are we going to deal with, I mean, we kind of already kind of hitting on it, like the way that parents behave with their children may differ depending on whether it's a male or female. And like she said, you know, being told you're pretty, you know, being polite, you know, knowing, you know, what you're supposed to, you know, do as a female, where boys, they allow them to be, you know, loud and rough and, you know, to be able to get all of that aggression out. You know, those I believe are reinforced gender norms.
Right.
Done all that, yeah.
So peer, we talked about peers.
Yeah, we did hit on that a little bit.
That can tie into it because once they leave the household, they're not around us 24/7.
Yeah.
That's something I think we need to take into consideration. We need to think about that. Even though you instill these things,
Yeah, John.
John, hold on, let me.
What's up, John?
What up, bro?
What up? What up?
Hey, how you doing? Glad to have you on.
Glad to be here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
We
Loud and
can.
clear.
B said, "What up?"
Who is that? All I see is titties and neck walking. What is that? Oh, now I see her face. What up, baby?
You ain't have to put me out there like that.
My
Oh my
bad. My
God.
bad.
You got it out there for everybody to see.
What's going on?
All I just saw something bouncing. I'm like, oh.
Hey,
He said, "What show is this?"
Oh, now she took the camera off.
On you. She said, "You know what? You won't be doing."
Hey, make sure
Happy birthday again, Quinn.
Thank you so much.
Make sure
Oh,
you
yeah.
share the screen.
I'm
Somebody
glad you fixed that raggedy phone of yours and you're not breaking up no more.
Why is he trying to climb at you?
That's all right. Put the camera back on, girl. Stop playing. I've been lonely these days. Put the camera back on.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Oh,
glad
man.
to have you on, and thank you for the
Man.
birthday love.
Oh,
Thank
for
you.
sure, for sure.
I
What up,
know
big
I
bro?
was celebrating the rest of the year, but I was like, you know what, we're gonna do this. We ain't gonna go nowhere. We're gonna be right here. We're gonna do this show since we missed last week. Definitely.
That's right.
So I don't know if you caught it, but we're talking about socialization as far as gender roles and how that impacts even, you know, us even growing up. Because I was always told, you know, I was acting too much like a boy because, you know, I like to climb the trees and do all the things that I guess I shouldn't do as a girl. So I was always told I was being fast. I don't know if any of y'all guys, I was always told I'm being fast because I like to do what the boys do. I'm a run. I'm a, you know, where they wanted me to sit around and be pretty, and how those things impact you even at that age, you know, growing up. Because I was told that all the way up until I was grown. Because I think I climbed my last tree when I was like 18. And they was like, you still out here being fast? And I'm like, dang, so I'm fast because I want to climb a tree. Yeah, like, make it make sense. But, you know.
Yeah.
To them, they were trying to protect you because they know it'll lead from one thing and lead to another. That's not like playing like it wouldn't. You keep hanging around the boys long enough, we're gonna try to figure something else out.
Well, look what it got you. It caught you a king, so it worked out fine.
Tell them again. Thank you.
Yeah. So for all the ancestors, can y'all hear me?
Right. I didn't have to be real prissy.
That's right. It worked perfect. Wow.
Perfect. Wasn't wearing no pink either.
Hey, you still don't. It works.
It didn't work at all. So that's what we're talking about. And like Vonda brought up, like with her and Kel and, you know, her easy bake and all that type stuff that even, I guess, at a young age, you don't realize how it impacts you or what you were taught.
Yeah, I mean, like we get into the peer socialization right now. Like when you get a little older and you're like 3, 4, 5 in that age group,
you're so cute and little.
And you walk, but if you pay attention, you watch them. The girls like to play with the girls, and the boys like to play with the boys. You'll see it interact here and there, but generally they like to play with the same gender because they're the same. They can be rough and toss each other around and wrestle because that's what boys do.
Right.
The girls, they sit there and all play in each other's hair and play tea time because that's what they tend to do.
Right.
So when you get much older, influences can influence you heavily and change some of those social constructs that we were talking about that you were being brought up with as a kid, because now you're around your peers all the time where nobody wants to be the uncool kid. So if wearing pink is a cool thing,
you're gonna put on pink.
You might find yourself like, hey, Mama, you know, could you buy me a pink shirt?
Right.
And you look at it like, you want a pink shirt?
Why you want a pink shirt for?
What you want a pink shirt for? I just like pink. You put it on, okay, because you want to fit in.
Right.
Pink is for girls, not for boys, because that's, you know, what some of most moms would say. I mean,
right. So,
especially if you're a teenager, like, why are we putting on a pink shirt?
For sure. But I can't lie. For me, I used to always love being around girls. That's where I got a lot of game from.
Hey, I love playing with them too.
Man, I'm hanging around dudes. I'm getting all bad advice. So I'm like, man, listen.
That's all we got. That's all. We thought it was some good advice, but it was bad.
It didn't work at all. And I know why they did it too. Because they knew they couldn't get the girls, so they put their advice on me, so I couldn't get it either.
Make sure you can't get her.
Yeah, like, I hope he don't get her. Yeah, bro. So I used to love, man. I still love hanging around women till this day. I do.
He said, stay on the porch. We don't need you jumping off. No time soon.
Ever. Stay miserable like me. Because I remember Mike from the block?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to take advice from Mike. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. This dude ain't never had a girl.
I know you knew better than that.
Listen, V, that's who I was around. So I was like, wait a minute, now this ain't working. I'm
You
like,
don't
this man
remember
ain't
that
never got
picture
no
he
woman.
had of his girlfriend that looked like she was in the 1960s, bruh? You should have known. You should have known.
He didn't know. He was just look. He was just trying to get some game.
Yo,
He was just
I should have
his
knew better
usual.
because when he showed me a picture of her, it was like a third grade picture. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is he showing me a third grade picture of his
Exactly.
girlfriend? What she look like now? But I'm like taking all this advice from him, and it was all the wrong things. And that's why I said, man, I'm
Yeah.
just start hanging around girls, man. I'm gonna get more game that way.
So let me ask y'all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they said girls seem to face less pressure than boys to conform to gender norms than boys and are less likely to receive negative attention for participating in cross-gender activities and games.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I agree with that
I agree with
100%.
that 100%. Nobody's gonna question if a girl wants to play basketball, football,
Mm-hmm.
soccer, and wrestling. Like none of that. But let a boy be like, I want to go cheer.
I want to go be a ballerina.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I want to cheer. I want to be a ballerina. I want to be a dancer.
They gonna
Yeah,
get
we
cooked.
setting up an appointment with the therapist. Like, I don't know.
You be the next contestant doesn't accept
Well, back then, I don't know about now. Now it's a little more freer, you know what I mean? But
Yes.
back then, woo, you getting cooked.
Yeah, now I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. Because with all this that we're saying,
Mm-hmm.
now it's a whole new ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of things are more widely accepted.
And do you think, okay, so I feel like, and this is just me talking, what we're talking about is our parents back in the day and how they used to treat, how they used to raise us. Do you think a lot of what's going on now and is because of the new age parents?
I think a lot of things that's going on now. All right. Back when we was growing up, we wasn't accessible to like a lot of things that's going on for our society. You know what I mean? Our society was our household. You know what I mean? Our neighborhood. That was about it. Now,
Right.
you know what I mean? The way the world is now, these kids got so much access to everything. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I think it's more of that than anything. You know what I mean? I still think it's still values within the parents, but the kids got a lot more access to everything than we did. You know what I mean?
I think it's not just that. I think with that access,
Mm-hmm.
you have more access to information, but that information always isn't correct.
Correct information.
I agree.
It's just information.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and this is my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
some of the information that's out there is this can be a biological factor and not just a social construct, that it can be something internally that you're biologically made that way.
Mm-hmm.
And because of this information that's out there, some people buy into it, some don't. To each their own.
Right.
But you have more people with access to that information saying, well, okay, well, this is why they act this way. This is why they're doing that. Not like we said before, not understanding that unconsciously you could have formed them
Mm-hmm.
to act
that way. Right.
Right. I got you.
Anybody else have anything? King, James,
Welcome.
anybody on here say anything?
Nobody. It's nobody. I think everybody's on Restream.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's nobody on Facebook. I know EJ's probably listening, but that's it on this end. I think everybody else is.
Okay, we talked about media socialization.
And
matter of fact, we were just talking about it right now. We're talking about access to information.
Right.
That's a form of socialization.
Right, and that helps to enforce gender stereotypes.
Right.
So it could be them watching a movie.
Right, they get an idea what it means to be a boy or girl.
Girl, right, and they start to do
from
comparison, right, from a movie, and
right.
start to compare whatever
or question what you told them, or how you brought them up because of what they seen something different or heard something different, right?
That may want to cause them to change,
Right.
not realizing, it had to be something that either they seen, was taught, or you know what I'm saying,
Right.
that helped to cause that thought or that feeling.
Right. Like I'll give you an example. Like I say in our era growing up, and when you watch the movie, right,
Mm-hmm.
you would see the movie and the woman would be passive, very submissive.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you have a child that's not that. She's not passive, not submissive, very assertive.
Mm-hmm.
And she's looking at it like, nah, that ain't me. I wouldn't have put up with that.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're forming an opinion about themselves. Well, why am I not like every other woman I see on here? I'm more like the guys. And vice versa. Like now in this day and age, you're seeing a lot of stuff that we couldn't see on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Like you
It's
ain't
like
see that stuff
every-
until like what 1 o'clock in the morning when you should be sleeping.
Yeah.
That's when that stuff came
I
on
ain't see it
TV.
to BET Uncut. I ain't gonna lie to you. When that was straight up.
Right. And
Right.
You might see, I mean, every time you turn around now,
Right.
there's
There's so
some
much
kind of
social sexualization. And
sexualization and same gender.
right. And things that just wasn't.
That you wouldn't see that, and now a child's sitting there like, wait,
Well, you ain't talked to me about that. Right.
It's okay for them to do that to them,
Right.
and there's a bunch of confusion now.
I got somebody over here. I got Angela. Hey, Angela, how you doing?
Hey, what you got
She
for
said,
us?
I heard so much that children identify as this and the other, and then the parents don't educate them. They just let them be whatever they're feeling. And she was like, it's disturbing. So basically, like we're saying, because they see that information,
Well, sometimes
they're trying to identify with it. And if the parent doesn't, sit down, explain it to them or whatever, they just be like, okay, well, just go ahead.
sometimes it's because they don't know how. They don't know how to explain it, or it's something that they are very uncomfortable with themselves, or just don't want to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So their way of dealing with it is not dealing with it.
She said, my son used to identify as Spider-Man, but do you see me let him go out and fight crime? Like, right.
I mean,
that's like with my grandson. You couldn't tell him he wasn't Sonic. Super fast, like that,
right.
that was his thing.
Slow as molasses, but he's Sonic. But yeah, I mean, in that sensical way, it makes sense to someone like you and I, but someone who's dealing with something like that, they would put up an argument of saying that you're being facetious and you're going from one extreme to the other. They're having this kind of issue, that kind of issue, this kind of feeling, that kind of feeling. And how do you deal with that? How you put it, like, I'm not gonna let y'all here fight crime. That's a whole nother extreme. But if you stay with gender identity, what's the proper way to deal with that?
Well, again, and it's just me, as a mother who probably wouldn't know how to deal with it. There's a plethora of information out there. There's a plethora of resources. There has to be somebody else that could help me with this, or I can educate myself with this. And let's not just have our children just out there and not really understanding, what it is they're seeing or hearing or thinking, and just letting them just go with it. To me, that's just, I hate to say it, that's just bad parenting, because this is the same child. You wouldn't just let them go out there and play in the street and you see cars coming. If you see their life is in danger, you should be willing to find whatever resources, whether you have those or not, to be able to guide the child as much as possible.
I mean, I agree with that. Yeah, there's information out there. There's resources available. I mean, just don't brush it off to the side.
Right. Don't do like what she was saying. Just, you just have them out there and you're just like, okay, whatever. You know, no, not whatever. The child is having a gender crisis. Let's deal with it. Let's find out what's going on, what triggered that. You know, they have questions. There was plenty of things with me growing up that my parents didn't explain to me at all, or they felt like it was taboo to talk about. But what they did do was put a book in my hand. I talk about this all the time, and I don't mind sharing it. Like when I first got my menstruation, it was a little traumatic. Thank God it happened at home. But my mother didn't have a conversation with me. She came in the bathroom, she laughed, said congratulations, and she handed me a book. And I had to read this book. Yeah. Yes, Shirley did. She handed me a book, and I had to read this book on this and figure it out. So what I did was, once I had that information, when it was my sister's turn, I just made sure she was straight and she didn't go through what I went through. But again, that was one of those things that back then, I guess it was taboo, or she didn't know how to explain it to me or how to talk to me about those things. And I got it pretty early, a lot earlier than she expected. So you can imagine being 8, 9 years old and hello, it's here. When you ain't expecting your child to have it until they 12, So, but again, what do? She used the resources that she had. She did the best that she could, but at least she didn't just leave me straight out there to figure it out. I mean, I did have to figure it out, but I had some instructions. I did have a guide. Even if it wasn't a physical guide and it wasn't her.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean,
So,
it's one of those things that, I mean, we really have to pay attention, be really aware of what's going on, and not just be so dismissive. Because again, like Angela, not picking on you, but I'm just using your example of when you gave the Spider-Man comparison. If someone has gone through a crisis and used that, they can see that as being dismissive, right? Because we're not getting to the root of what they're really dealing with. Now you're talking about fictional characters. And they're dealing with something, again, because while we're off at work, they're amongst their peers having to deal with this.
right.
And now that we're older, we understand what that peer pressure is like.
Right, what it looks like for them.
To be the guy that your mom can't buy you a pair of Nikes. You got to walk around in the Asics all day. Or
which are hot now.
Right. Or you can't get a pair of Jordans. Everybody else can. They keep looking at you like, man, you can't even get the old just Air Force Ones. What's up? And it's bad that those pressures can break a child.
Right.
Have them doing things to themselves, to people around them, because they're dealing with a crisis.
Right.
And we don't see it as a crisis, like, man,
right, because right, and I think that's another thing. Things that because I guess we talk about it all the time, because our age group, and the things that we went through, and now some of these children, they have other, like the slightest thing, it's an issue, and it's like I think I seen it on TikTok. A girl was talking about, look, we grew up on a playground with monkey bars.
Oh yeah,
concrete. And when you hit that concrete, wasn't nobody there with no Band-Aid. Wasn't no, you just got back up, right, scarred up and all, and you kept it moving. And now, the child get knocked over, it's a huge thing. You got called all types of names. But those that cause you to go out here and want to commit suicide and things of that sort. Because I just have a friend who's right now, they're burying a 22-year-old, 18-year-old, because they shot themselves, because the pressures got too hard, the social cues and trying to fit in. maybe and it seems as if nobody really talked to them on how to kind of navigate this thing we call life and where they fit in these social groups.
And I think that's what's making this whole thing a little more, what would be the word, out there, because it's now it's more accepted.
Right.
Where before, like in me growing up, it was like super tabooish. Like you doing these things and you were ostracized.
Right.
You put to the side, called all kinds of names.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wanted to deal with you. Like, you had to go hide in the corner and do anything. But now it's in everybody's face and it's okay.
Right.
And whether you agree with it or not, it's something that is going to have to be dealt with.
Right. At some point.
At some point. So the gender role thing is very strong, and it's here. So
We talked about it, that fell into the cognitive
the cognitive development.
Yeah, I think so. With the socialization and how that kind of
Okay.
the active roles and how it plays out. We kind of we got ourselves, we set ourselves up little things to make sure we stay on point.
Am I able to
Trying
make
to,
a comment?
You sure enough can. Anybody can.
Anytime.
Okay. One of the things that I wanted to comment on as far as gender roles and things being accepted now that wasn't accepted, I feel like it's almost like an evil agenda, like a conspiracy, and they put it in your head. You can be anything you want, and you wake up, and next thing you know, your male child is telling you that they're female, and it's like, bro, no, you're not. I don't care what you go
Right.
out here and dress up. I don't know. It doesn't matter if I named you James, and now you want to go by Jaquana. You're still a male. You are still born a male, and I think that society over time they have slowly but surely just started making these things okay, and it's become accepted. Now kids are identifying as animals in school.
Right.
Kids are
Right.
walking around like, I forgot the name of them. Israel told me it's like a name for them, but they identify as certain animals. And I feel like now even females, natural born females, are having arguments with trans people because we have to defend being a female, and it's like, oh no, well, I'm a female. Like, no, you're not. So I just
Right.
feel like now, like, it's so crazy that what is like a fact, a scientific fact, a natural born fact, like women are having arguments with the alphabet community because we're being told like, no, we're women too. No,
Right.
no,
And that we're not real, and that we're not real women.
King
exactly.
said the word is fairies. He came on here and says that
Yeah,
that's the
that's
name.
it. Yeah.
Furry.
That's what it is. They walking around thinking they dogs, cats, all type of craziness, and
And my thing is,
they giving into it.
Right. Right. When do it become enough? Like, when do we stop and say, okay, because I could not, and I'm gonna be quite honest. My kids will know. And James, if you're still on and you got Marla next to you, she will tell you. If she'd have came home talking about I identify as cat, and she loves her some cats and a rabbit, we would have a problem. Because I'm sitting her down, like what is going on, and where did you get that from? And yeah, no, we're not doing that. It says add to the stream. Maybe that's the problem because you haven't really added him up there. It says add to stream up there.
Yeah, I can cut it on right here.
Okay. But yeah,
so yeah, it's a hard thing, but
yeah, but
it's here.
It's here, right? So how do we navigate through that? Because we got new generations coming on, and how do we because I feel like this is one of those things that isn't new. You know how they say everything old is new again. Well, I don't think they had that back in my grandmama in them days. We didn't have people going around
At
saying
all.
that they identify right. They identify as animal.
Maybe not animals, but I think the gender change been going on. It was just more closeted back then.
Shit, my grandma would have told me, meow your ass out my house. Bye. That's what she would have told me. Meow your ass out of here.
Put this free collar on and see how it be outside.
Man, I'm telling you, her mama.
You a straight yo.
Mama was a fool, yo. She would have meow your ass. They wasn't having it then. I ain't gonna lie to you. Woof.
Yeah, keep it moving.
And I think Vonda said something that's very interesting because you have these other groups now that identify as whether it's, you know, the alphabet community or the fairies or whatever, that us that identify as being Ethan Vale or Phil, we're being attacked because of who we are by nature and what we know we are. Not because of a change, not because we didn't do any surgeries or, you know, or any of that stuff. My thing is, why are we living in a world where now it's not okay for us to be who we are?
I think
that's the thing. That's the problem. Is that that's what they're pushing. You can be whatever you want to be.
Whatever you want to be. Not that you
Science,
can't be
yeah,
who you are.
science does not matter. Science does not matter. How you was born does not matter. If you were born a female and you want to be a male, you can be that. If you were born a human and you want to be an animal, you can be that. We're going to create a group, and so you don't feel alone and with other people that identify as cats, and y'all can sit around and pick which cat food, you know what I mean, like y'all like the best. Unfortunately, it's a scary thing, but that's what they are pushing. That is the new agenda. You can be whatever you want to be. Science does not matter. It just does not matter, unfortunately.
You got somebody that said something there.
Yeah, my brother John came on and said for the topic, he remembers sticking to dark colors. No pink. Got to have Nike shoes. Always got made fun of for not having the right colors or brand. And that's what we were talking about. You got kind of kicked to the side if you didn't have what everybody else had.
Right. And it's crazy. Like, I just feel like we are, like Rhonda said, I think the agenda is being pushed where we're not going to be the majority anymore. We're going to be considered the minority as far as
what do you mean?
Everything in the world. I feel like she said, everybody belongs to this group, but I don't feel as if we're going to be they're trying to push everybody else to the forefront. There are a lot of, groups out there that back them, as far as power and as far as their agenda and just regular things for our everyday life that are normal. Those are going to be, I feel like, the things that we're going to have to fight for. Just with everything that's going on. Maybe I'm not explaining it right.
No, I think you explained it right, because what I look at is we're jumping from generation to generation to generation. And what I mean by that is, in like my mom and generation, brand wasn't a real big thing. So by the time we got into school, brands start to become a thing. So they didn't kind of like understand that because they didn't buy us the
Nikes and all that,
how it affected us at school.
Right.
And so going forward, now with us knowing that we've been through that,
We try to
have to
make
be
sure.
conscious that things are going to change from one generation to the next. And we have to be conscious of how it affects them when they go off.
Right.
Like Varda was saying, we don't have to worry about, what is it, furries? Or somebody call themselves a furry?
Back in our time.
When now Cameron going through school, which is my
Right.
grandson, that may say something he has to contend with.
And he might be having questions like,
how do I treat this furry?
Right. Come home, and I think that's my thing. It's like, he'll be confused because in his head it's like, no, Ma, no, Gigi, he should be a boy. But he said he a dog.
He's not a guy. He's not either
He's
one.
not. He don't want to be a little boy, and he's a dog. And
now, how do you deal with that?
How do you deal with that?
It might sound silly on
our end, but it's serious for them.
It's serious, something that he has to deal with.
Right, and not only that, what I think about is because Cameron knows what dogs look like. We got a house full of them and what they should sound like, and then he's looking at somebody who is a boy that looks like him, but saying he's a dog.
Right.
That can be confusing, and I just think we got to pray because, like, what do we do as parents and aunties and uncles, and like, how do we navigate this? And without because you never want to hurt anybody's feelings or whatever, but at the same time, you do want to protect your children too. But how can you protect them in this world with everything going on? Keisha said, Cam going to speak his mind and tell them what they are. He probably will. You're absolutely right. But
so from where we at now, we can see where gender socialization it affects men and women in society. Right. So boys and men can experience gender role conflict and pressure to succeed and dominate in their careers. And they may feel like they're a failure if this is not what they want to do or can't do it. Men and boys may also intentionally avoid expressions of affection with their peers, believing that anger is the only appropriate expression for emotion in them, and they often are viewed more vulnerable emotions like crying, being feminine. And we talked about that earlier. And this is some of the constructs of parenting,
growing up, because you teach them.
Right. Men not supposed to cry.
Right. Suck it up. You're your boy. You got to be strong.
So that's something that we don't think about. Like, think about this, right? So,
because I know I've been guilty of it.
Right. So think about you have a son and you're pushing your son to be strong, to be into sports, and he's being molded to be dominant, to be successful. But when he gets into these sports, he's just not athletic.
He's not there
at all. And you can see where the pressure that he's not succeeding in any of that
weighs on him.
That it weighs on him. Like, man, I can see other boys doing this and doing that, and I can't. Why? Yeah. Which can maybe lead to some of those.
Yeah, like what's wrong with
me?
And then he started looking at maybe, maybe because I like to cook.
Right.
But they telling me cooking is a good thing.
I like using my brain more than my brawn.
Right. Not reinforcing to that child that either one is
right. Okay.
It's okay. Yeah. I'd rather you use your brains and beat your body up.
That's not what makes you a man.
Right. That's not what makes you a man. But I know I have been, but it's been when he's been playing sports. I've done that. He get, like we talked about today, when he got hit hard, I'd be like, get up, because you don't want him to show weakness, especially in front of everybody out there, especially in a sport like that. So it's like, suck it up and get back out there. See what you made of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough sport.
Okay, I think we did pretty good.
You did pretty good. Anybody have any other input? Something else they want to say? All righty.
Well, I would just say once again, I think that y'all hit it out of the park. I think that this was a very, very excellent topic. And not only that, even though we didn't have to face it, it crosses generations because our kids and our grandkids are gonna have to walk around with Gracie in human form. You know what I mean? And then what if you got a child that want to be a poodle and child that walk around acting like a pit bull? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. But I just think that y'all picked an excellent topic.
Thank you so much.
We just want to say we ain't out here trying to bash or offend anybody. We're just talking about social cues, socialization, how it impacts, how it is. I mean, what we're looking at, we're just trying to talk through it. We ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings
At all. If you are of that community, we welcome your input.
Right.
Come on here
and let's talk.
Let's talk. Let's have a conversation.
Let's have a great conversation. We're not here for any of that. We don't do drama, so don't come with that. But we will, definitely be open to,
expressing opinions.
Right, expressing opinions and trying to understand, what that is. We love everybody. We pray for you, that's what we're all about. We're just in here talking about topics that affect us, our family, affect others, and what it looks like, and bringing awareness that there are reasonings behind a lot of it. You're not always just, oh, well, I've always been this way. No, let's talk about you've always been that way as far as you can remember, but let's help you get to where the foundation of maybe that probably came into play. So we thank you again, especially you, V. You are #1 stunner. We got something for you coming up here.
Thank you, V, for coming on.
For everybody else.
Of course. I gotta go. I'm about to walk into the hospital. So love y'all.
Love you too.
I want to thank King for coming on. I want to thank my brother John for coming on. I want to thank my other brother John for coming on.
We want to thank Angela and Keisha over here and EJ over here and Facebook. We love y'all. We thank y'all for always supporting. I definitely would appreciate very much if y'all have topics, like hit me up. Y'all know how to get in touch with me. We also, if you want a shirt, let us know. We got them for sale. We're doing them to order. So if you want one, let me know. Holla at me. We love y'all. This has been Kel and Quintella, and this
Recipe to Chivalry. And we thank you guys so much for coming on. Thank you. See you next Sunday.
Next week.
We're out.